What's going on, guys and girls? I'm Tanner, I'm bald, and today we're going to be talking about the first major mods that you should do to your 450L or any bike for that matter. So if you're new to the channel, this is my 4Shitty, the 2019 CRF450L. I picked this thing up months ago, like going on half a year, and it's finally surfacing, reaching the channel, so I wanted to do a few mod videos for you guys and talk about some things that you probably want to do, and this is more protection related rather than performance. To be honest, I don't know if we're ever going to do any performance mods to this, just for the fact of I don't want to put money into this bike. As of right now, I plan on getting rid of this thing at the end of the season, and I'll do a video on why, but I think a lot of you already know the answer. So for now, we're just gonna continue to enjoy it in the stock form and show everybody what it's capable of and what to expect when you buy one of these. But there are a couple major things that I bought for this bike that are a must-have, and I was willing to spend the extra money to protect the investment. So in today's video, we're gonna be installing the Works Connection skid plate and radiator guards. And for any kind of trail riding, those two modifications are a must. Now I'll go ahead and get this out of the way because I know the comments are gonna be flooded with it. Why aluminum? You know, the plastic skid plates nowadays are so much better, this, that, and the other. I even had somebody comment saying that the stock skid plate that comes with this bike was better than this aluminum skid plate. You're out of your mind. Now I will give credit, a lot of the more expensive, higher end ones are amazing. They allow that frame to flex as what you want, and it's pretty much what all of the top enduro riders use on their bikes. So why did I go with aluminum? Well, number one, durability. You just can't beat a solid aluminum skid plate. It just gives me so much confidence to send this thing over any log, any rock, any danger. I don't have to worry about it. Now this skid plate, like pretty much all of them that I see, does not cover the linkage, so you still gotta worry about that, but I've never had any issues. I'm not doing anything crazy like that, and I mostly just do log crossings and try to stay away from the rocks. Now what sold me on this skid plate from Works Connection was the rubber mounting system. So basically what they did is just created a system of brackets which uses rubber spacers and still allows the frame to flex. Now this is an aluminum frame, so you're not gonna get that much flex as it is compared to the other manufacturers, which, you know, still use the steel frame. But that's just my take. It's my investment. I prefer the aluminum for stuff like this. It's super lightweight. I mean, you put this in your hand and you can't even feel it in there. So the weight is definitely not an issue. I love the way it looks. And on top of the skid plate, we're gonna be installing these radiator braces as well from Works Connection. If you're doing trail riding, just buy these things right away before you even take it out on the trails. I had bought this bike used, and sure enough, you'll see here in a little bit, but when I took these shrouds off, I found out that both radiators were bent because they didn't have braces like they should have. And honestly, buy once, cry once. These things will save your radiators out in the woods, and it's really one of those must-have protection items for woods riding. Obviously, you want to have bark busters as well. These are the Cycra Pro Bends, and I have loved these. It's like the perfect size. It's saved me a countless amount of times, and I don't want to go back. These are super quality system. The frame is solid. I've dropped this thing hard several times already, and my bars are still straight, and all my levers are intact. This bike does come factory with rotor and caliper guards, so you don't have to worry about that. They are plastic, but honestly, I don't feel it's necessary to spend the extra money. But for the skid plate and the radiator guards, for sure, get you some quality stuff. Shout out to Works Connection. They will be linked down below. So let's get into this video. Go ahead and install these things. And this was back before I had even rode it, and it was still in the living room. Like I said, guys, I'm not playing around. Before I took this out, it was mandatory to have that skid plate and radiator guards in. So we're gonna hit the living room, and I'm gonna be walking you guys through the install. Super easy. So let's flash back a couple weeks when I had hair and get these things installed. First things first, the seat's gotta come off, so go ahead and remove those back two bolts. I was really hoping to get a chance to use this Tusk rack. It's super well built, and it also gives you some nice points to pick up the bike from in the rear. And this was the first time that I really got a close-up look at everything, and sure enough, as you can see, that radiator is pretty jacked up. And not just one, but both radiators are bent. So on the shifter side of the bike, you have to remove a zip tie that's holding down a wiring harness to get the first bracket in. And that bracket just goes behind the frame there, and you thread the other piece that's angled onto the front side. You definitely want to use Loctite for this. I'm just using some blue gel type. I really like the gel. It's been nice and it's a little bit more messy, but at least you don't have to worry about it dripping. You're gonna have to go ahead and press in those rubber spacers. It's a little bit tricky to do, but if you work at it, you can get it. Also, to reuse the plastic covers, you're gonna have to trim them a bit. I just used a razor blade that I had laying around and trimmed it to fit pretty nice. But we got the first side all wrapped up. It took a lot longer than you saw on camera, just dealing with the bent angles of that radiator. Now moving on to the other side, it's literally the same exact thing, so go ahead and put your mounting bracket on. And on this side, it has a little rubber cover that protects one of the radiator hoses, so make sure you put that on there so the hose does not chafe. As you can see here, it fell off a couple times, so you just want to make sure to put it back on. But if you have a new bike with non-bent radiators, this should take no time at all, and it's a really simple process. These products do come with instructions, but I figured I would make this video as well because I myself am a visual learner, so it definitely helps to see a video before doing anything. Now it's time for the skid plate, my favorite part. I went ahead and ripped off this plastic one that is apparently stronger than the aluminum one.
Nice and rusty under here.
What? Rusty?
And I revealed some nice corrosion that was left from the previous owner in the dealership. I'll clean that up at a later date, but I'm itching to ride this thing, so let's get it done. Now you're gonna go ahead and install the crossmember in the front, which is what the skid plate actually mounts to. Touching tips here, getting that Loctite on both. Then you have this small bracket that's held on by one bolt in the rear. Make sure that's torqued down pretty good. As you can see right there, those are the two rubber spacers that I was talking about.
Alexa's pots and pans down here.
And the bolts just thread through that. Then you got an additional two in the back that threads into that bracket. And it is simple as that. The 450L is ready for some hard enduro woods abuse. I hope you enjoyed the install video. It was a nice change of pace. We've been doing nothing but trail riding here, which I absolutely love, but I just don't want to become oversaturated. So let me know if you want to see more build videos. Like I said, these two mods are an absolute must. It leaves you worry-free when you're out on the trails. You can throw this thing around and not have to worry about breaking anything. For now, I think that's all we're gonna do to the 450L. One thing I probably will do, just because it's cheap and effective, is change the gearing. This thing is designed to go on the highway, so the gearing is a little bit tall for my preference and my style of riding. So if we gear this bike down a little bit, turn up the idle, I think we can make do for the rest of the season. I do not want to spend a crazy amount of money on an exhaust and ECU to fully wake up this machine. But if one of those companies wants to send me those items to test and review, I would not be opposed to it. But as far as me, I just can't justify it right now because I do not plan on keeping this bike. But like I said, that'll be in a future video. So if you enjoyed today's video, make sure you hit that like, leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think. We went riding last weekend, as every weekend, and we have another trail ride film. So let me know if you're looking forward to that. But until tomorrow's video, thank y'all for watching, and I'll see you then.